Hey there, I'm Mr. Know-It-All, the lead swing trading analyst trader at Swing Trade Pros, the #1 swing trading and bot community in the world. And I genuinely want to help you make your mark in the thrilling world of swing trading cryptocurrency. I've been trading since 2017 and I've taught myself many different trading strategies, patterns. I'm known for the falling wedge pattern, as you guys might know. I've dedicated my life to mastering these types of structures and patterns, and now my goal is to impact the lives of 1 million of you. You heard that right. My goal is to impact 1 million people this full cycle. Let that be you. Cryptocurrency markets can be a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs. But through swing trading, I've discovered a strategy that can truly make a difference. I've poured countless hours to studying the intricacies of falling wedge patterns, rising wedge patterns, you name it, and it has become my area of expertise. Here's the thing. I genuinely want to see you thrive in this market. That's why I've made it my mission to impact 1 million of you. I want to provide you with the tools, insight, and support you need to navigate this exciting but challenging landscape. Swing trading is not just about technical analysis. It's about understanding market psychology and developing disciplined risk management strategies. I'll be there to guide you step by step as we identify different types of patterns and structures and seize profitable opportunities. Together, we'll build your confidence in trading skills, ensuring you're well prepared to face the twists and turns of swing trading. Believe me when I say that I genuinely care about your success. That's why I'm inviting you to join me, Mr. Know-It-All, on this transformative journey. Let's make the most of this full cycle and work towards your financial freedom together. You'll find all my links in my bio. Reach out and let's dive into this world of swing trading. I'm here to support you and your family and guide you every step of the way because your success matters to me. Together, let's make a real impact and achieve trading success.
All right. Welcome back, traders. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Kind of a bunch of nothing burger price action here for the week. We saw Bitcoin attempt a rally up to the Cajun line around 43.9. Wasn't able to break above it. As you guys can see, we're still kind of trending below this major trend line here. If I take off the super guppy here, you guys can see we're kind of ping-ponging between these fib extensions here, the 618 and we haven't got up to 786, but if you zoom out to like the weekly, you can see it made an attempt up there. That was the ETF approval news. We are still above the weekly Cajun line, which is 37,000. When Bitcoin is above the weekly Cajun line, usually we are in an uptrend. Okay. So overall, Bitcoin's still in an uptrend. Obviously, we've yet to, retest this $44,000 region, and we did get a bit of rejection on the week. We're not printing like yes, there is a top wick here that we've kind of tested the candle body structures up here. We basically almost tested this area here. We didn't quite get to it, which was 44,000 on the weekly. I would say right this very moment we're kind of just in this range. It doesn't look very good, right? I mean, it doesn't look like it's setting up for a massive move up or anything right this very second. Just kind of looks like it's sideways, and the buying pressure is kind of weaker right here. Right, we did break this trend line. We got this breakdown. We did have somewhat of a recovery after that, but we were unable to get back above that $44,000 region. All right, so I will say, let's take a look at the tether chart because that could be indicative of where the price action might go. I'm still kind of err on the side of caution here that because we have not been able to reclaim the $44,000 range, we could be coming down to retest the bottom of this range, which is around 40,000. All right, if we don't see any buying pressure come in at this region right here, which is between that 41.7 region to basically where we're at the $42,000 level. All right, let's take a look at Tether. Tether coming in with a weekly close here. Again, you can kind of see that Tether kind of wicked up here, holding the lows, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a bullish structure because it's really not. But on the monthly, we can see that we closed last month. I wouldn't say it's like a doji candle reversal, but it's definitely not a bad candle for Tether, I suppose. We have this region right here that we tested and rejected for now, and we're kind of resting right below it right this moment. We are at a bottom of a range on Tether, right? You guys can clearly see this is the bottom of the range. We did start to break down here, right? And the monthly chart is telling us that Tether is still sitting, 49 on the RSI, which is right near the bullish control zone, but not in jeopardy of losing its major uptrend, right? So monthly chart kind of like is saying that we could see some movement back to the upside on Tether potentially here, right? You guys can see the monthly stochastics kind of just crossing or about to is basically confirmed to cross, but we didn't get above this 20 region, which would be a major buy signal for Tether. All right. So what am I saying? I'm saying that it's possible for the next couple weeks, couple months of price action, depending on how this performs. If Tether is actually going to get bids, meaning people are going to be selling crypto for Tether, then we could see, Tether dominance come back up to test this region, this 7.2 region. And if it does do that, that's going to spell some bad news for the crypto market, at least short term here, over the course of next coming weeks, maybe month. Unless we somehow put in some nasty rejection candle right at this level, which we could do. I'm not saying that it's like completely out of the cards that Tether just starts rallying here, because like if we zoom out to like the 6 month or the quarterly chart, we can see that. The quarterly chart still is telling you that the quarterly chart is actually pointing down on the RSI right now. So, but yes, it is still in the bullish control zone on the quarterly RSI, but definitely pointing down, right? The quarterly chart here is telling me that there could be more downside in the coming months for Tether, right? So let's pay attention to that. I know the quarterly seems like a long time frame to look at, but you kind of want to understand, hey, well, are we going to see dump this week, next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, monthly? We kind of want to know that information so that you can kind of strategize how you go about taking profits or how you go about, entering into assets if you so choose, right? And so I would still say that on the longer time scale here, if we are in a bull market, that Tether should come down to at least test 4.71% at some point in time. It may not happen right now. Like I said, I think that if Tether does manage to get above this 6.2 or even get above this 6.52% region, which was where Bitcoin went down to 38.6K or something, then that once we start making closures above 6.5, we could be looking at some lower prices, right? So, and yeah, you can clearly see on the weekly we're really pretty close to the weekly demand line here for Tether. So risk to reward wise, someone might if this was an asset you would be wanting to buy or hold, someone could say, hey, well, we could take a long here and we could trade this back to the top of the range, right? So yeah, that is that is something that is something to look at, right? But let's look at the weekly bands here. So we're not really in a squeeze. We're actually like in the middle range of a squeeze. It's not, and if you look at the bands, they're not really that tight. So that means to me that this move may not necessarily be that strong of a move back up for Tether. And the monthly is also not in a squeeze, but it is bouncing off the bottom Bollinger Band, which could mean that we get some weeks, some months, a potential downside in this market. All right, or at least some consolidations, because I think. Yeah, and we are below the monthly Cajun line on the Tether chart. So every single time an asset goes below its monthly Cajun line, that means it's going into a downtrend. But it's possible here to say that maybe this month it actually closes back above the Cajun line because it's right at it, right? So that's where you want to look at the weekly. The weekly is also below the Cajun line. The Cajun line here is 6.89%. As long as Tether stays below 6.89% on the weekly chart, I think we remain in a long-term uptrend in this market. And I'm talking about mostly Bitcoin here because there is plenty of altcoins that are in uptrends right now that have gone on runs. And they just may see pullbacks and make higher lows and continue their runs, right? So this is all, this is all kind of how you need to look at this right now. We are going into the halving period here, where in April we have the Bitcoin halving, and historically speaking, we see a pullback for the halving. So this could be the start of that if the action is going to dictate that. Right now we're still a weekly short on Tether here, but we can see that we have a 2-day long signal that's coming in and a 3-day. Our 3-day is still short, but as long as Tether stays above the daily and the 2-day and the 3-day Cajun lines here, well, we could see some more movement to the upside on Tether, which could spell some trouble for the market. So hence the title is a big crash on the horizon. Well, we could see some sort of action like that because of what I just explained, essentially. And the monthly, although yes, the monthly right now is above the monthly Cajun line, that candle we just printed on the monthly last month is it's not a very strong candle, right? And we did go outside the band on the monthly chart here, okay, on Bitcoin. Typically every single time you go outside the band, like we went outside the band here, last time we did that was July of 2019, and what happened after that, right? So what happened after that was Bitcoin, tried to get above the monthly Cajun line, and then we saw a major drawdown, right? So we could be looking at something similar happening here. I understand that it's a different. It is different on the momentum oscillator here, right? Because back in July of 2019, we had just started creating positive momentum, and we got that big drawdown. Like we have already been in positive momentum here, right? So it's a little bit different in terms of the momentum oscillator on Bitcoin here. And I will also say that the ASO in July of 2019 was still bearish. So it's different. We actually had a monthly ASO cross, bullish cross. So it may not be as drastic. It may not be as long of a period of a correction that we saw back from July of 2019. Okay, but these bands are pretty accurate. Okay, Nick. Cajun line doesn't really matter. They get the point. It's literally this line right here that we're looking at. We're looking at that for some sort of moving average confirmation. So yeah, I think that it's possible, and it's probably probable if we don't get above these levels, these $44,000 regions on Bitcoin, that we do see Bitcoin potentially pull back, and that is indicative of what the node squeeze indicator is telling us, and some of these other assets that we've been looking at. I mean, mostly Bitcoin, right? Because some of these other assets can actually still potentially outperform what Bitcoin's doing because Bitcoin already went on a nice run. And but yes, I mean, majority of these coins are going to follow Bitcoin. So that's the analysis here for tonight. It's not going to shock me if we do start to see Bitcoin really pull back a bit, maybe to the $40,000 region at first, right? That's our major support level right now. Is that 40K region, or this 38.5K is where we retested, and we got this bounce off of. So we'll see. We could be drawn down to just 40K to make a double bottom or something. You know, that could totally happen. Stay up in this range. We'll see how this plays out, but we're definitely looking for a retest of confirmation of a range low high, or a confirmation of seller exhaustion, right? So, and so far we've just made a lower high right now. We've made a lower high. All right, so we'll see how this plays out. But like I said before, I don't think we're replicating what we did in 2019 by any means, because of how the oscillators are looking. They're completely different. This momentum wave is a lot stronger than in 2019. It's probably more similar to the 2016 run. And actually, let's take a look at that, because I think that we are on a trajectory similar to what we did in 2016, okay? And let's take a look at that, all right? So the 2016 run, when we became overbought like this, around this $86 region, was right around here in June of 2016, when Bitcoin was at 741 bucks. And we were looking at monthly charts, so let's keep it consistent. So yeah, June of 2016, the monthly ASO crossed up, and we got a pullback like right around here. This was a pullback that we got from June 2016. We pulled back almost 40%, and almost a 40% pullback, which if we pull back 40% from 49K, that would be obviously something we haven't seen this cycle, but that would be something like a $29,000 retest. Let's just call it 30K, because it's probably going to get front run. We're probably not going to do as big of a dip as we did back in as we did in 2016, because of how much bigger of a market cap that Bitcoin is. So a lot more money is flowing into Bitcoin right now versus then. So, and we have some levels here, right? I think 33K to 36K region is a pretty big region. Obviously, the breakout region here at around 32K, I think is a possibility as well. Because usually after you get a breakout, you get a back test. We've yet to back test this region, and I think it will be less than a 40% total correction on this move once we do get it, or if we do get it. So that would be about a 35% correction, and half that move we've already basically achieved on this 20% drawdown we saw, and then we're just basically getting we got a nice strong bounce in a potential attempted retest, right? So we'll see. We're still in the range right now. There's nothing to be worried about. I'm just pointing out some things on the chart off the monthly time frame that could play out. And the US dollar index has actually been pushing, which is another reason why we might want to be a little bit cautionary. When the dollar index pushes, risk assets, especially the S&P, could see some drawdowns or pullbacks, right? So, holding the range low here, probably going to come into this resistance level. I don't foresee the dollar index really rallying hard, man, or really doing something crazy here. It can, because it is in a squeeze actually. So that could spell some trouble for risk assets if the dollar index does rally. S&P was at all-time highs. It's been making all-time highs. And futures market's open and it's flat right now. I mean, no action right now, but new all-time highs, man, last week for the S&P. And we got a pretty big gap over here. This was the breakaway gap once it broke all-time highs. So watch out, man. I mean, if the dollar really does start really rallying and really pushing, man, this could get interesting pretty quickly for the S&P. And remember, when you're in uptrends and you get bearish divergence, usually you get some underperformance, but you're It's looking like maybe some rising wedge stuff happening here right now. Obviously, you're at all-time highs. You know, you could just consolidate, pull back, and continue in the rising wedge until you get some resolve. Rising wedges can break to the upside as well. I think it's about a 60% chance to break up versus a 40% chance to break down. So something to be aware of and noteworthy of. And if we look at some fib extensions here on the S&P, we haven't even done a 1272 fib extension. I think before this run is over, we are going to touch that, at least touch that. So yeah, you know, we could see some short-term downside or pullback or something up here. Obviously, if the dollar is really going to start pushing, but I think ultimately we are going to see some more action on the S&P. We just broke a monthly squeeze. We are outside the band. We have not printed a early sell signal yet on the monthly chart. This can continue its movement, right? The volatility is elevated here on the monthly. Yes, we are overbought on the monthly chart with bearish divergence for sure. Without a doubt, there is bearish divergence. We have higher highs on price. We have all-time highs on price versus our top here in December of 2021. So yes, bearish divergence on the RSI is evident and clear. All right. But our monthly ASO looks healthy, nice separation. Our weekly also nice separation. 2 week also telling us further upside. Okay, so S&P index looking pretty good. Listen, man, you're going to get days where it's down. You're going to get days where it goes up. But I think overall here in the coming months, we're going to still see some more upside on the S&P. All right, so that's the S&P. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Facebook had quite a day on Friday. NASDAQ here, beautiful channel up. You know, we got some deviation outside the channel here and then dip back in. And it looks like it's going to try to break its all-time highs here, if it hasn't done so already. It hasn't. It has done so already. Technically, it is at new all-time highs. The NASDAQ is at new all-time highs. All right. So yeah, I think why can't it go to the top of the channel? Why can't it do that? That's another 20% move here for the NASDAQ. Why not? In the coming months, for sure. So that's your equities markets here. Let's take a look at gold. Gold just sitting up here, man. I mean, just very elevated. Looks like an interesting slanted inverse head and shoulder structure. Looks like you're technically above the neckline right now. Just kind of chilling up here, man. Looks like maybe some more consolidation in the cards here for gold. But you're definitely elevated, right? So that's basically it. Can expect some drawdown potentially in the crypto market. Certain altcoins might continue to outperform Bitcoin. You're going to get that across the board. So let's take a look at the altcoin index, because I think that is something really important to look at, especially going into halving and into the ETF news in May for Ethereum. So here we are, man. The altcoin index chart. You can find this at blockchaincenter.net. I did not create this chart myself. And you guys can see this is based on the yearly chart. You know, we broke this downtrend here. We had this big rally on altcoins. They pulled back. Looks like they made some sort of double bottom down here, and they're trying to recover versus Bitcoin here. And if you look at the coloring zone, we're still pretty close to this bottom, man. So like, don't get scared from these pullbacks, guys. Just if you have capital or you have dry powder, I think the long term here is still lots of upside to come. All right, just my personal opinion. Of course, always do your own research and only risk what you can afford in these markets. But it's kind of what I'm looking at. Kind of looking at the long term here, because I'm not really caring too much about the day-to-day price action. A lot of the assets that I bought, I've staked, or I'm just waiting it out, man. Because like I think the risk to reward still a lot of these coins is still pretty good. Still pretty good. All right, I'll be fielding some of your guys' questions, or maybe coins you guys want to look at, or maybe you have some other questions you guys want to ask about these markets or maybe other markets. XMR, that's Monero, right? EDA, XMR. Just sideways action for Monero, like lots of consolidation here. Yeah, Monero actually looks pretty good on the weekly, man. That looks pretty good. And the monthly is in a squeeze, a big squeeze on the monthly. Monero actually looks very good, actually. Okay, whoever asked that. Just sideways along the base here. All right, Monero looking primed to try to break a major trend line here. You know, descending triangle behavior potentially, and we could see do break. You're looking at about 176% measured move, which could take you back to the all-time high, which is $470. It could take some time, man, but that looks pretty good. Oh yeah, you took the CFX trade. I think I gave that back in what, like end of December, January, sometime, right? All right, so ADA, take a look at that. ADA kind of rejecting the 38.2% retracement area. You know, we could be coming back down to tag 42 cents. I don't see why not. Right, you got a rejection here. You got your baseline right here, man. 42 cents for Cardano. That looks about right. Right, just slower highs being put in here. You got your range low here to watch. You know, if you end up holding the range low, maybe strategize a trade here with a stop loss below that. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't look like it's doing anything right now. It just looks like some consolidation or some retracements in the cards here for Cardano. With that weekly candle coming in not so hot. Kind of a doji candle there. Yeah, right. Almost like a dragonfly doji. Not a good one. You know, still holding this flag here though, right? So still holding this bullish engulfing candle is still active until you close below, 39 cents. So 42 cents. Maybe pick up some Cardano down there. All right. Inc. PLS. All right, let's take a look at the Pulse Chain assets. Interesting weekly chart. Looks good. You see volume kind of coming in down here. All right, big kind of U shape here. Clear break of your downtrend with a rally out. Very nice. Maybe looking like some sort of falling wedge pattern. And falling wedge patterns after they break out can go anywhere from the 38.2% retracement level to the 618 on their initial impulse. So that being said, this asset has done a 38.2% retracement Last week's candle, yes, bullish engulfing. We could, if we do see continuation, we could see this trade up to that $5.34 region before maybe a potential reversal. It could go all the way up to, like I said, anywhere between the 38.2% retracement to the 618, anywhere in this range. But I would say once you reclaim this 360 region, it's going to be pretty easy for it to get to the 618. There's not a lot of traded price action here on this asset. So if the volume continues and buying pressure continues, we could be looking at a $9 swing target. Looks pretty good, man. FXS, let's take a look at that. That one I gave, I believe, last stream too. That one was doing pretty well. That's Frax, right? Yeah. Frax closing another weekly engulfing candle. Not a very strong one, but getting pretty close to this region up here. That's something to pay attention to, because this right here is definitely an Adam and Eve double bottom type of formation on the weekly time frame. And your neckline break is about 120, 130% measured move. Once you do close and break above $11.33, that could take you up to, like I said, about 131%. And we figure about half the move. That's about $17, which probably puts you in the neck in this neck of the woods in these two major resistance points between $14 and $17. Once you clear that, man, it's just there's nothing up there really. Like you got some. Not a lot of price action up here. Maybe a couple months of price action up here. So straight up, straight down type of stuff. So if you can get above, 1760 and maybe up to that 29 region, that wick high right here, big gap in the price action. So a move above 1740, you're probably going to easily see $30 on this thing. All right. Math. Meta Alpha. Oof. Bearish engulfing monthly candle, man. Not looking too hot. Not really liking what that's showing me right there, but a breakout. I mean, you're gonna call that a back test? Nasty monthly candle, dude. I wouldn't want to be probably buying this thing until it. Yeah, this doesn't look very good, brother. You could be looking at some more downside in this thing. Doesn't really get much volume. You might want to be paying attention to that stuff. Not something I'm interested in touching or trading by any means. But yes, it could maybe hold above this trend line and hold this support level. But just watch that action, dude. All right, just watch that action. Yeah, you are on a demand line here. I see that. But if you break that demand line, you could be looking to come way down. 118, $1. You could be looking at a 30 to 40% move down if that doesn't hold. I'm not really interested in something like this, but good thing to look at, man. Good thing to look at. Sure. CFX. Yeah, let's take a look at CFX. That thing made a run. It's probably pulling back now. It broke the channel. We gave a trade here for sure. We gave a trade down here at 10 cents in the alert service. Kind of getting stuck right here on right along this 50% retracement level. You can kind of see that, maybe there's some. You're in this channel here, and if you can't seem to pick up any bids, you might come back down to the bottom of the channel, right around that 18-cent region. If you don't get bids there, man, and you just confirm a lower high, this would be a confirmed lower high if we do get that, and we could come all the way back down to the demand line here, and then maybe make some sort of double bottom for a break. All right. So this looks like maybe some buyer exhaustion here. Let's kind of take a look at your oscillators. Take a look at that, and let's go to the weekly chart. The weekly is telling you, hey, man. We got some early sell signals coming in here. We're towards the top of the bands. Could see some downside, right? It's telling you maybe some downside coming. No confirmation of this 80 line cross, but it's crossing down, man. It's crossing down. So pay attention to that demand line on that channel that it's in. It's in a beautifully respected channel here, and you could pick up some bids. If you pick up bids there, great. We could consolidate along this trend line and then try to push higher. depending on what the markets are doing. Solana is one of the strongest altcoins in the market. Let's kind of redraw what's going on here. You know, our long-term channel here, you can clearly see that that is a beautiful structure. You know, 1, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests along the bottom channel. We could almost say that was a blow off top, and blow off top back into the channel, rejected it, got your dump. Beautiful demand line, or beautiful, man, I'm blanking out right now. Mid-channel respect, right? Touch, rejection, got above it, broke through it, rested along here in this bear market, and then trying to retest it and got the final capitulation event. But yeah, I mean, nothing burger candle last week here for Sol. Still closing and holding above the bottom of the range. Looks like some sideways action, man. But yeah, holding above a major range here, major trend line. I would say that was the retest level, that 2078 region. You're sitting above it. You know, you probably got to. You're just in this trading range between 116 and 78 here. Kind of just some sideways stuff. You could just bounce around in the range for a while. Could even come back down to retest the bottom of the range, right? So far you've made a lower high. You made this doji reversal candle here, which is telling you that, man, maybe some more downside for a couple days. You did break this. You know, some could call this a wedge pattern. Some could call this a channel or a down sloping channel. It looks more like a wedge. You broke the wedge, and maybe you're back testing it right now. So you could see some sideways, or maybe one more test of like $89, higher or low than this low, something like that, right? Just pay attention to that. And this is your demand line right here, okay? Right, 1, 2, 3 touch points, so that's valid. And yeah, we could come down to touch this level, that 92 to 93 region. Could get one more touch there, man. Right, because your oscillators are kind of pointing down. Your wave trend or your node squeeze is telling you, yeah, maybe some more downside, right? We didn't deviate outside the Bollinger Band. So the deviations outside are usually pretty good. You get a deviation outside, you can expect downside, right? Deviation outside, you can expect upside, right? Deviation outside was right here around this $107 region, and it's been pretty spot on. We got movement down, right? Deviation outside on the bottom, boom, movement, huge movement up, right? So if you're not part of the service and the alert service, and you want access to this tooling, make sure you guys subscribe. It is very, very, very good thing to look at for some confidence in your trade, okay? And let's take a look at the node squeeze here on Tether, because that will also kind of give us some inclination to know what's happening with Tether. So yeah, we got a 3-day movement outside of the band. All right. And and that was probably right here, right? Yeah, that was right here. We got a bit of a pullback on Tether after that, right? You see the outside deviation, pullback. All right, but now you can see that it's holding above the Kijun line, and we might have got a reset on our daily momentum, right? No deviation outside on the daily, so this could this may or may not result in a big movement up, but you can see that the candle bodies and the structure down here is holding the support. So it's probably likely that we try to go and test higher. All right. Our daily short signal is still in, so we still, as long as we don't, make candle closes above, I think 6.21%, that might still stay active. Okay. Pendle. Take a look at Pendle. Pendle in price discovery. Very nice looking chart. Let's go to our weekly time frame here. My chart is lagging, unfortunately. All right. So not really a lot of data here, but we can probably fib from this region here. All right. So nice bullish engulfing with 3-bar play played out. No resistance here. If we do see continuation out of this asset, 440 next target. Nothing here. And you break 440 and it continues. $8. That's really it. That's really it. You know, you can see that, you know, you were in this channel and you just broke the channel to the upside, right? And this looks like a cup and handle type of formation. And this was a double bottom, but we can say that it was a cup pattern. And so your cup is a 3,000% measured move from the break of the cup. So that probably puts you, if you do the whole move, that puts you somewhere around $30. So yeah, figure about half that move. So, you know, $6 to $8 in that region before maybe a major drawdown, right? And then maybe one more leg. Who knows? We don't have enough data to know that yet, but something like that. Chainlink looks pretty good. Take a look at it. I think last stream I was saying that it was right at a breakout area, and it did broke out. I thought maybe we were going to get a rejection and come back down to retest, but very strong. It did not happen. So if price action continues for Chainlink and we hold above this region and we consolidate up here and build up energy for another move, you know, you got the 786 or the 886 fib extension up here around $26 for Chainlink. A major channel breakout here that happened. I would call it a major bull flag, right, for Chainlink. Right, this is like a major flag pattern, long term, right? You guys can see the flag, right? Beautiful flag. Flags aren't valid until you break all-time highs. You break all-time highs, man, just copy and paste the flag pattern, man. That's it. And yeah, you could be looking at a $270 Chainlink in another year or two if this price action continues long term. You will see pullbacks along the way, but man, this is a very strong asset to look at on a chart. If we go to a quarterly chart or a monthly chart, or this is a quarterly, but take a look at it. Very strong chart. Very, very strong. Rectangle bottom. Your quarterly stochastics just pointing up now. Down here at the bottom here, you know, your quarterly RSI just flipping bullish, 61. Lots of movement here to the upside. Your ASO is still bullish here on the 2-month. The 2-month is about to cross bullish. Okay, so a big swing to the upside is coming for this asset. This looks extremely bullish, guys. I have nothing bad to say about this asset. Just pay attention to these levels. All right. The monthly Kijun line, we are strongly above the monthly Kijun line here. Unlike Bitcoin and unlike some other assets that haven't gotten to their monthlies, this is a very strong asset. We did deviate outside the band, but it was a squeeze that was broken. So we'll see if we get a pullback, right? It's telling you maybe we could get a pullback here. Not with that candle, man. That was a very nice candle. That was a breakthrough candle. We could easily back test though. Don't get ahead of yourself. We could see something like this where we come back down to 16 range and retest this breakout, or maybe, you know, consolidate for a couple weeks to get a nice reset on the oscillator, right? It's overbought probably on the weekly. Yeah, we have some. Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say divergence yet, but yeah, we're working on some bearish divergence on the weekly. But your weekly momentum oscillator just crossed up, man. So we could just continue higher on price as we push through this momentum. All right. So yeah, daily chart, 2-day chart might be extended. You know, watch for some consolidation or pullback up here. But I think longer term, man, this is looking great. If you bought Chainlink, we did give an entry down here at the bottom at $5, man, $6 even. This is performing excellent. All right. Let's look at whales. That's another one that's been requested. Take a look at it. Not any real data here. Nothing to go by. Just straight up type of price action. Broke a range. Pulled back, made a higher low, rallied again. I can't really do TA on this, man. There's not really anything here to look at. Unfortunately, I can't really give any price projection on this, man. The asset's just straight up. The daily looks like it's just starting a move. I have no clue where this is going to go. No clue. Not enough data. Sorry. Gary USDT. Gary token. So pretty close to a channel type of thing here. Very, very close to a channel, I would say, if not is a channel. Yeah, okay. Close enough. It's very close. I'm going to go to line chart here. You might be able to see it a little bit better. Yeah, maybe. Always try to identify a pattern. It makes your life a little bit easier so you can know what to expect from the move. So yeah, maybe a partial decline before a breakout on this thing. Maybe. Right? Bouncing off the 2-day neutral zone on the RSI. And the price making a higher low than its previous lows. So I'm not really sure what this token does, but this could be at a level where, or an area where, you could see maybe a reaction. Not enough price data on this, but if it does break, you want to be buying in this asset when it does break this trend line, okay? Because your target will probably be around 29 cents because there's nothing here. Right? You got the 11-cent wick, but then nothing there. All right? Not much there. Wait for the breakout, man. Sand. Take a look at TRX, sure. And yeah, I mean, I'm still looking at this, retesting the bottom here, this neckline. Could come back to 37 cents. No reason why it can't, especially if the market's pulling back. Nothing here on the 2-day telling me that this is going up just yet. 3-day also. Yeah, you're in the oversold region, but man, you could probably come down more. The weekly is still pointing down. Your 12-hour Stokes are also pointing down. So oscillation to the downside here on sand. A bit more downside to come, I would say. Yeah, just watch this trend line right here. You are rejecting it for now. As soon as you start breaking that trend line, talk about some upside targets. But we have no divergence. We have nothing right now. No edge on this asset. Not looking to trade it right now. I do have a spot position on it, but that's it. I'm not like looking to leverage trade this or do anything with it at this moment. This was the crash in December, right? Yeah, okay. TRX. Tron looks pretty good, man. Just skating up along that trend line, man. That is some beautiful trend line respect there. Just skating up along it, man. Your next target here is about 12, 13 cents. That's that wick high right here. You get above that, man, there's nothing here. Really nothing here, just some wicks. Looks like a massive cup and handle, man. Just massive cup and handle. You could be looking at like almost $1, $2 on this asset eventually. Great looking chart. Nothing bad to say about it. Just holding the structure. Skating along, man. Skating along. Nice monthly candle last month, right? Just green, 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 green. $13.4 is that monthly candle body. You start making closures above that, man. You're gonna see some fireworks. Just watch, man. You're getting overbought here on the monthly. You're starting to maybe have some. I wouldn't. No real divergence yet, but yeah, I mean, just watch. Just watch. You're getting pretty close to that range high. We'll take a look at Hex. Sure. Let's see. I think I call this out down here around 0.0035, like descending broadening formation type of stuff. Like these engulfing candles are flag patterns, okay? You know, I have a flag, a consolidation, a continuation. Could get a bit of consolidation again before another type of impulse, right? You got it, but you got to produce a higher high, man. You've yet to get above that 1 cent region. But yeah, you can see the stair step up happening here, right? And yes, this could very well be in the making a descending broadening formation that eventually resolves itself to the top of the descending broadening formation. Could take months, could take a year, could take 2 years. I think Pulse Chain will be better than Hex. But yeah. Let's take a look at Pulse Chain. I actually picked a bag of Pulse the other day. Let's take a look at Pulse. What is that? What is that? What is that? Rat Pulse, right? Pulse Chain down here at the neckline. A lot more erect than Hex Coin, I would say. You're in a big squeeze, man. Look at that weekly squeeze, dude. That's nothing to ignore, man. That is tight, tight, tight. Tight squeeze happening there. And yeah, I mean, you really want to be paying attention to stuff like this. Sure, we might have rejected it for now, right? We might come back down. But watch these ranges, man. And I'll probably be adding, if it does come down, and it totally can come down more, made a lower high here on the daily chart. But watch these ranges on Pulse. This looks like a bottoming type of formation, okay? Another one that caught my eye that I haven't bought this coin, but man, just take a look at this MAV coin and like, look what it's doing. Looks crazy. Like beautiful parabola structure. Just higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, just higher highs, higher lows. When Tether bull run. We kind of discussed a little bit about Tether earlier and how that we put in a higher low here on the daily and 2-day chart. These are the levels we're looking at right now for it to go test 6.19 and 6.54 if it manages to get back above these levels. And if it does manage to make a reversal here and like, you know, somehow get back above these ranges, back to the top of the range, man. Totally. That's bullish, boy. Yeah, on a daily or 2-day time scale, that's bullish, yes. Hence my conclusion of Bitcoin going back down to test the bottom of its range. Whereas some of these altcoins look a lot better than Bitcoin right now and maybe can outperform them. But let's be real here. Let's go to a quarterly chart. All right, the quarterly chart is making new lows on the RSI. Right, it made a new low on the quarterly chart, an RSI break to the downside. So meanwhile, the shorter time scales look like we might see some sort of reversal or some sort of push back up. Tether on the quarterly chart, the longer term time frames, doesn't necessarily look that good. Like I wouldn't want to be in dollars for the longer term here. Shorter term, sure. And let's also not forget what Tether just did on the monthly. And we just had a monthly bearish cross. We haven't had a monthly bearish cross like that since August of 21, really. I mean, there's not that much data on this chart, but this is all we really have to go by. We know that we started a new cycle once Tether does something like that. So, not something to ignore, I don't think. And again, also a monthly RSI break on Tether, right? This low right here was the previous all-time high on Bitcoin. This double bottom formation on the RSI, this was the top of the market last cycle. And we just broke it. And now what we're doing is we are back testing it. We are going to back test it. And most likely going to back test it as resistance because our quarterly time frames are pointing down. So yes, short term, we see some downside. Longer term here, I think we're going to just see this market continue to go up, grind higher. All right. It means we're at the top again. It means we're at a local top. It means we're at a local top. Right? Did not get through this trend line right here. We broke the trend line. We tested it. Cycle repaint. I mean, it's good for timing in the market, I would say. Like, you know, the Novembers and the January tops and whatever, stuff like that. But price action changes daily on that thing, man. I wouldn't solely rely on that as a means for investing in the market or using it like that, you know. Definitely a great tool and a great visual for sure. He's not shorting, dude. Don't worry about Arash. But yeah, so far clear swing failure up here on Bitcoin around 43.8. So bottom of the range, if this level doesn't hold to here, this level right here, around 41K. Let's go to regular candles to see that a little clearer. So like right there, around 41.1. And you have that range, that 40.6K range to that 41.1K level. That's a pretty clear level here right now for Bitcoin. Sort of this box right here, okay? And right now we are above it, but it's pretty clear that we've just made a lower high. I wanted to take a look at Bitcoin dominance here for a second. All right, so Bitcoin dominance still has some room to go test that trend line. And well, our weekly is actually telling us hasn't quite crossed just yet. Actually, it technically did cross just now. So, but we're short-term bullish here on Tether. So that could just mean Bitcoin dominance drops with Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily mean altcoins. I mean, I do think some altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin, as we've been seeing. Certain altcoins have been doing that, but overall, bottom of the range is what, 31K for Bitcoin. I would say the bottom of this trend line is about 33K. Probably, I mean, yeah, you could say that if it could go test this breakout area, which is 32, around 32K, 31.7. But I think you're going to see lots of bids come in above that because, you know, people that are really trying to buy Bitcoin they're going to place their bids a little higher. They're not going to, like these wick lows here around 33, even 34. I think the average holders right now is around 37.5K. So probably bids around that region, 33 to 35, I would say. I mean, sure, can we get a wick to down there? Yeah, absolutely. But we'll talk about lower ranges on Bitcoin once we start breaking this 38.6 region. Right now, we're kind of ping-ponging between these two fib levels here. We could do something like this where we reject here and we come back down to retest this range low. So we'll see what happens on this range low. If we really start to roll over here and we start to break it, yeah, we could totally see something like this happen. Let's look at Fear and Greed Index for a second. Interested to see what that's at right now. There you go. The market's in a 60 level reading for greed. And our previous low was 30 in September. Okay. Good to know. All right, folks. You guys have anything else that you guys want to see or look at? There you go. The long-term trend line here from this bottom is confluent with around $33,000 to $34,000. Okay. If we end up coming back to retest the major trend line of the uptrend for Bitcoin, is confluent right around that $32,000 to $34,000 range. Okay. FTT token, sure. FTT token. Let's see. We had a wedge break there. I mean, it's kind of old to look at that, but let's see. You can see maybe a trend line here that's kind of been respected for this movement up. We came pretty close to wicking down to it here. This level right here around $1.40. I would say that's a nice horizontal area for FTT token. I mean, it looks like a potentially low risk area to take a trade, I would say. Right at the bottom, near a bottom of a range. I mean, I'm not going to be trading this, but if I were to be, right, you're in what looks to be a down channel here. You got 1, 2, 3 touch points at the bottom. You could do something like this, where you hold the bottom of this channel and you just rally up to the top of the channel. And you could just continue to do that until you get down to the major demand line and then eventually maybe break out of it. So something like that is totally possible on this asset. And that kind of makes some sense to go back up to test that 240 level where you broke down from, right? Because that was a previous major level where you did break out from. Hopefully that answers the question there, Rash. So something like that. I mean, your daily's oversold, 2-day oversold. Definitely in the zone where you could potentially look for a start to maybe accumulating a position in it to eventually get some sort of swing target back up to the top of the range after you've done something like this and shown some accumulation down here. And I think eventually, if this thing does do anything conducive to this market, maybe up to the trend line at $7. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but you did a 38.2% retracement on this asset, so not bad. Urus, sure. Still holding above the level, man. I have a line painted here. It's just sitting right above it. You did break the wedge. You attempted a move up to the 38.2% retracement level. Not enough volume to get there, unfortunately. Doesn't really look the best. 45 on the 2-day RSI, so kind of sitting neutral territory on the 2-day chart. Your weekly, do I have this on log or something? Yeah, your weekly hit the top band here and pulled back. Kind of looking for a reset on this oscillator on the weekly chart. You know, again, neutral on the weekly, daily. You're getting close to this range low. So what would really be nice to see on this, Arash, is if buyers did defend this level and, you know, volume to come in right here at this level. That would be good to see. Right, because that would mean that we could eventually see the top of the range get tested again and maybe even break it if enough volume does come in. But yeah, you're sitting neutral on weekly 2-day charts, so could see some consolidation or, you know, testing the bottom of this range here. The 4-hour, I mean, this actually doesn't look too bad on the 4-hour right now, but smaller time scale. Like I said, a swing trader could strategize taking a trade here because you are above a level, and you know your risk to reward here for just trading back to the top of the range looks pretty good, right? You could strategize an entry right here with a stop loss below that level. I'd give it some room, right? Because this thing does get some scam wicks and shit. So like, one could strategize a trade here to the top of the range. That's about a 4.5 to 1 risk to reward. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good trade setup. But I'd like to see more of an edge, though. You know, like the daily doesn't really tell me. The daily's not really telling me that stuff just yet. The 2 days not really telling me that just yet. So I'd like to see more of an edge on the chart for momentum to really take that trade, if you will. But 4-hour looks good. The smaller time scale looks like maybe you could see a move, which could materialize into those longer time frames, changing their direction, right? So the 4-hour right now is showing a bit of a squeeze on the 4-hour, right? You're in a squeeze on the 4-hour. You could trade back up to the top of the band. And the 4-hour RSI is neutral, 45 with the momentum oscillator taking to the upside. So that's a start. Let's see some bids come in, man, down here at this range low. Like to see that. Right, you're at a trend line right now. You're actually right at a trend line. You're getting pretty tight there. See if you can get a break, man. All right. Yeah. The daily Cajun line actually just flipped bullish on this thing, so that's good. That is good, man. That's good. I see you had an attempted rally here at $9 and failed. Quarterly chart. Solar. Solar just consolidating, man. In a range. Range bound, man, holding the bull flag, just sitting here in the range. Could come back down to the bottom of the range. Watch your volume. Your volume is receding. All right. But totally in a flag pattern here since December. It may not even be considered to be a flag pattern anymore. Anything longer than 4 to 6 weeks, I think, is no longer a flag formation and more of just a rectangle consolidation pattern. All right. And it is very possible that this comes down to the bottom of the range again and tests it. Right. Very low liquidity, very low market cap, and is reliant on Moon River and KSN making a move. And Moon River right now, let's see. Yeah, so down sloping channel. I would almost even call this. Yeah, I mean, I like the channel structure I had here on the monthly chart. You know, testing the top of the channel and rejecting it for now, but this monthly candle here is still active until you close below $6.55. So yeah, I'm watching these levels here. We could even trade down to, what is that? 14, 15 bucks. Sure. What does that mean for solar? That means a retest of that bottom of the range. This thing tagged the 50% retracement level. So yeah, we could see some more consolidation out of this asset. We are below the weekly Kijun line here, right? So we're starting to lose this momentum. But at any given point in time, as long as this flag stays active, meaning we don't get candle bodies closing below it, it's still an active engulfing candle. Okay, so we could see some more consolidation. We could see another pullback. We could see all that stuff for sure. It's breaking now, right now here. It broke this support on the daily chart. We just opened a new candle below it. All right. So what does that mean? Yeah, that means it could come straight down to 14, 15 bucks. Totally can do that. This is a straight up, straight down type of price action. What does that mean for solar? Man, if Moon River drops, solar is going to drop, man. That's what that means, all right? A 30% drawdown here for Moon River probably means a 50 to 60% drawdown for Solar Beam or more. Okay? All right, look at Jasmine Coin. Range-bound asset. Couldn't break the top of the range. On the monthly time frame here, the weekly is telling you, again, some consolidation happening at this level. This 0.0049 region, unable to break above these levels here for now. Your weekly momentum oscillator is pointing to the downside right now. We don't have momentum on our side until we cross back up. Could just mean we get some sideways if you look at maybe the 2-day or 3-day chart. Yeah, the 2-day ticking back up on the 2-day, the 3-day ticking back, trying to tick back up. So that means we could try to test the Kijun line again. If the price action continues to build momentum up again, that weekly momentum oscillator will cross back up. Okay, that's going to take some time. So the daily does look like some consolidation or pullback here. The 4-hour short signal coming in. So we could just stay right. We could just stay in this range, man. Could come back down and test the bottom of the range. Could even come back down as low as this bottom 0.0046. Just depends on what kind of demand there is for this asset. Hopefully that helps, man. I think the broader market, the altcoin market here is going to pull back. Aside from a couple that I just pointed out, like FTX token, FTX might get a pump. Okay. All right. You guys got anything else for me tonight? And the crowd goes silent. That'll be my cue. Thanks. Yep. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream tonight. Hopefully it was informative. Sorry I don't have the best news right now, but I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys, what I'm seeing on these charts. These dips that we get during this this lull period here for the next maybe month or two could be some great buying opportunities for accumulating more of these assets as we do go into the next phase of this run. We are in, I would say, phase 2 of the bull market right now. And these drawdowns that we do get are, I would say, great opportunities depending on the asset that you are trading. All right, thank you guys so much. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys follow me on my other channel. I'm trying to build that out right now. It's called Professor Nodes Trades. I'm still committed to doing a stream here once a week for STP, but I am starting a new YouTube channel, and you guys should definitely take part of and be part of. I will leave you guys with that. Thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful week. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, make sure you guys leave them in the comment section. If you're in the Discord, you can always message me about anything trading related. I'd love to hear from you guys. Catch you guys next time.